Okay, Islam, Sheikh Dwayne Bey, Islam, a Moorish American nation and family, Islam. I'm Ron Arrington-Bey. I'm being attacked mentally while I'm doing this video. One of the, is April the 5th, 2022. In my name Islam.
Islam.
Can you see? Yep, say it again.
Yeah. Islam.
Islam. What's your name? Imani Zabril Bey. Okay. What's your nationality?
Moorish American.
Your nationality is Moorish American? Okay. Islam. We're Extended Stay America in Annapolis, Maryland. Imani Gray Bay. Do you know anyone personally here in Annapolis, Maryland?
No.
Have you implied that you know anyone that you want to get to know someone personally, like date an African American female?
Never. Male? Never.
Are you homosexual?
Never.
Are you or Spanish speaking?
No.
Pale skin?
No.
Okay. So you have never implied, flirted in a manner to say, I want to take you out to anyone here in Annapolis, Maryland?
Never.
Okay. Neither have I. So if Imani, if I say something that seems to not be true in reference to you as I'm doing the video, correct me, okay?
Okay.
All right. So what I'm experiencing right now, because we're among a telepathic world, is my anus is itching. A lot of times when a spiritual attack happens, African American accents, black, Negro, male and female accents around, and then all of a sudden I start hearing those that speak Spanish, especially when Imani's being attacked that have a Spanish accent. When Imani's being attacked in his sleep or having an irritation where I have to scratch around my anus while I'm going to the bathroom. So why would unclean spirit send an itchy feeling to your anus? Well, if you scratch enough your anus, because there's melanocytes there, and when you scratch, it's like, oh, even if you scratch here, it's a good feeling. So you scratching your anus is a good feeling. If your nails are not cut, you can cause breakage in your skin. Not only that, being among a telepathic world where those that have different strands of the telepathic code, they have dog telepathic, canine strands of the telepathic code in what is perceived to be a human, ape strands of the telepathic code, bird strands of the telepathic code that look to be what you would see because it has 2 arms, 2 legs to be human. Then when they have sex, they are probably having anal sex lots and lots of times in many, many ways and many positions like animals. They craving that. So if they trying to if they having some form of orgasm, seeing this, or they stalking the room with the telepathic code, because they have the telepathic code, unclean, unnatural spirits, they probably somewhere ejaculating and jacking off somewhere. I, Rhonda Arrington-Bey, as a Moorish American, naturalized. That means I have uphold the constitutional fold of this landmass, the organic constitution. I reject the telepathic code. I don't have the telepathic code. I'm Rhonda Arrington-Bey. Make sure I say Bay. Imani Zabril Gray Bay, do you have the telepathic code?
No.
Do you reject it?
I do.
Okay. We don't want it, okay? We want to evolve naturally. So what we are among in Annapolis, and it's just not here, are those that have different strands of the telepathic code that are animals. We're among artificial intelligence, AI, that can control technological devices that are connected to the unnaturalized military, Navy, Army, and the police. So many times, and I'm glad I'm going to speak upon this. So first thing I'm going to talk about is the African American Black Negro. When you among those that are involved in sex trafficking, money laundering, illegal organ selling, sex trafficking, money laundering, illegal organ selling, and other forms of criminal activities, they will hide their goal is to hide what's really going on. So they create a falsity. So I was wondering, Imani and I, we've been here since May of 2016, the last week of May of 2016. Sometimes I leave out that last week and I just say June of 2016, but it's the last week of May of 2016. We came to Extended Stay America in August of 2016, but we've been in Annapolis since the last week of May of 2016. I've never experienced anything like I've experienced here. So definitely I had thoughts of, knowing that we are among different beings, or something different about some blacks, Hispanics, so forth. But I didn't know. I really didn't know until I came here and I became more spiritual and I could see with a spiritual eye. I had no idea. And so what I realized is I couldn't understand why so many African American accents around this room keep saying, I love you, like an animal, or that which was Hispanic, which I have absolutely nothing to do with them. And I'm doing my hands because some of them like to put their hands up like this, like 10. I had nothing to do with them on a personal level. Never have I ever implied that I want to get to know someone from El Salvador, Mexico, South Central America, wherever it may be, Dominican Republic, whatever it may be on a personal level. Never. But I was wondering why these Spanish accents around the room keep saying, I love you, or hearing them saying werewolf when I'm out or in around the room. Birdman, hearing the birds tweet. Now remember, we are among the military base. The Naval Academy is about approximately two miles away from Burger King, driving distance, I was told. And there's an army base. They come into Burger King all the time. And so I truly didn't understand what I was among. I had no idea. I grew up around those that considered themselves African American all my life, pretty much. Even when I married someone from Senegal, I was still, my family, I'm the only one in my family that claimed our nationality is Moorish American. So all my life I grew up around African Americans, okay, those that said I'm African American or black. Learning the history and so forth. So so for me to come to Annapolis and experience what I was experiencing, and now making a decision to say, okay, there is it's not something in the water, but it's something in that code, is really real. And I'm keeping it 100. Now, so if you don't have the telepathic code, then this does not apply to you, Islam. So if you're not unclean, unnatural in spirit, and you don't have the telepathic code, then this does not apply to you. Okay, this applies to those who have the telepathic code, and they know they have different strengths. So what I'm connecting the dots is they have given this telepathic code different strands of it, from very low strands, animal, beast, DNA, to different ethnic groups, and it connects them so they can think and breed. All right. So the African American, Black, Negro have a form of the telepathic code. The Hispanic have a form of the telepathic code. Whether they're from Mexico, South America, Central America, they have a form of the telepathic code. The pale skin has a form of the telepathic code. Those from India have a form of the telepathic code. Those that come from different parts of the country of Africa, they have the form of the telepathic code. In fact, they probably gave the most lowest version of the telepathic code to the third world countries first, Islam, experimenting, and then gradually brought them over here. So gradually, for like probably 80, brought the telepathic code over here, started distributing it. So probably like 80 years ago, approximately, or 90 years ago, I'm going to just go back that far right now, but it's probably been a lot longer, when people was having experiencing sharp pains in their chest, their genitals, headaches, other illnesses, and medical disease. those that had the telepathic code was being used to inflict these diseases, this disease, these illnesses, these sicknesses, and a lot of them were coming from other countries, but we didn't know, because they started for like many experimental drugs and so forth, or solutions. They usually experiment somewhere in some of the countries that are less fortunate than what they say the United States is, and then gradually bring it over here. So those from Mexico that come over here with the telepathic code, they were able to, if they were the ones that were being used by the government, a government made a deal with their government, and this is dealing also with South and Central America or other places, maybe India, Pakistan, other places from maybe different parts of the continent of Africa. But I'm going to stick with right now South and Central America, Pakistan, India, China, and so forth, and say, well, you know what? Let me y'all come over here. You get your own business started. And some of y'all could be used to help the pharmaceutical companies make money by inflicting pain on citizens who have no idea that you have the code, and you are able to do the things you are able to do. You are able to invade their homes in a non-seen manner, because they can invade, move objects with the telepathic code. They can come inside your room, come inside your home, and you would not know. Attack your children, attack them in their sleep. Like you have babies who were born, and they say I forgot the name of the diagnosis, but they don't live long. So the baby is born, maybe a week or 2 weeks old, maybe 3 weeks old or whatever, and one day the mother comes in, or a month old goes into the room, and the baby is dead. And they say the baby is, that's why you shouldn't lay your baby on your back. You should lay it on the side, so forth. But what they not telling you about these spirits, unclean spirits, that have the telepathic code, that they have experimented and did experiments with, and they have allowed in this country, on this landmass, and they've been using them for years to inflict illnesses, diseases, spread viruses and other forms of sicknesses for those that are able to profit from it, whether it's a hospital that is controlled by a corrupt bank, or a pharmaceutical company controlled by a corrupt bank, or other entities that are profiting from this, not that which is for healing, Islam. So that's what we are among now in Annapolis, and not just here. It's happening globally. So I don't have the telepathic code. Imani doesn't have the telepathic code. So that lets me know that we are one of the ones that did not, that it wasn't distributed to. But we are probably one of the last that are on planet Earth. We are probably one of the last on planet Earth that does not have the telepathic code. There are probably others, but we are probably some of the last ones who have rejected and who do not have the telepathic code. So now, when predominantly masses of people, and when I say one of the last, that doesn't mean one or two. I'm saying it could, I don't know how many, I think of global, and the telepathic code being distributed, Islam. So just so I'm clear that I'm not accusing anyone individually, but I know that it exists here in Annapolis, and people have it here in Annapolis. So getting back to my thought. So what we didn't know, when you saw Mexicans coming over here those from South and Central America coming over here, is that they had the telepathic code. A government made a deal with another government, a government that existed on this landmass, making deals with that government, allowing them to come over here so that people can get sick. And not only that, so that's just them, that section, okay, of those that had the telepathic code for Mexico, South Central America. But then you have the African and Black Negro that also have a form of the telepathic code. And just because I don't have it and didn't know that others had it, doesn't mean that there weren't Black Negroes, African Americans that didn't have the telepathic code for 50, 60 years, or was some form of gene manipulation for over 100 years. So what I'm getting at is this telepathic code is is more than a code to give the average citizen abilities to communicate on a telepathic level. They have placed different mechanisms in that telepathic code that has changed the way people think, that has changed their connection to the divine. So they have literally limited them from moving forward in their connection to the divine. And also it looks to me is slowly transforming them. Slowly transforming them into something so outside of not constitutional law, but natural law, that they, because of the code and the mind manipulation, they probably have no idea what's really going on. Islam. So all the while they're thinking they are in control, or they are evolving because of this huge change that's supposed to be happening, and people are just they're just preparing people for. But literally, that code that's in them that can be activated is changing them so that they are not able to connect to those divine laws of the earth and the universe as they should be, as they should have been doing, as they would have been doing if it wasn't for the code naturally. Islam. So getting back, so the Black Negro African American, okay, that has this telepathic code is truly a beast that's unnatural and unclean. Those that are unnatural and unclean, it is truly a beast. So when I see a beast, an African American male and female, when I see them as a beast, okay, what I'm trying to tell you, Sheik Dwayne Battlefield Bey, my Moorish American Nation and family, is they know they're beasts. They know that they're animals. Imani, yes. They might look like Halle Berry. The females might look like Halle Berry, Janet Jackson, other so-called attractive African Americans. But what you really are looking at is an animal, a beast. That male, the African American Black Negro male, might look like Denzel Washington. He used to be considered handsome back in the day. Who else? Billy D. Williams. That's an oldie but goodie. Very handsome, right? At least when I was growing up, I was a little bitty girl. I used to think he was good looking. So they have those. They have many of those that look like them, but they animals. They beasts. Literally animal thought, state of mind. And when I say not, and I'm not saying all, but I'm saying that there are way too many. And they know what they are supposed to be doing. They know they're supposed to be breeding. They know that they are supposed to be breeding, and they are outside of natural law. And so by them injecting a fetus with this telepathic code, before that fetus is even born, because they're trying to make it evolve, as though they eject dogs, cats with it, cows, horses. Now, I'm assuming that the restaurants do not use animals that have the telepathic code, because if they're injecting animals with the telepathic code and then they kill the animal, slaughter it, and that animal who has a now human intellect knows that it's about to be slaughtered after it was loved and fed and so forth. Can you imagine that energy, all that energy in that meat? Okay? Not only that which did it, imagine their state of mind, that sadistic, sadistic state of mind. So you give an animal the telepathic code to evolve, okay, and then you slaughter it for food. So now the animal is now when the animal feels pain, it hollers, right? So not only does it feel pain when it hollers, because it's being slaughtered, but it knows way before ahead of time it's going to be slaughtered. Because the animals are, if they have the telepathic code, then while wherever they are being kept, they're communicating with one another. Isn't that amazing to think about, right? And then they get slaughtered. And then that meat is distributed to different stores, different grocery stores for consumption by so-called humans. Islam. So now I'm just, I hope that is not the case, but that is something to think about. Anyway, so getting back, so injecting a fetus with the telepathic code that has a dog DNA, ape DNA, or bird DNA, and that fetus grows up with this DNA and is able to catch on with computer skills and do certain things, work a little bit faster, because times are changing, it's more modern, but it's violent. It has a violent tendency. It cannot connect on a civilized level of how to be civilized. It cannot connect why it should behave civilized. This is what we are among today. Today, African American accents constantly keep saying, "I love you." She love your son. Black males, I can't tell you how many times Negro African American males accents like animals, beasts. I love her. Brother. Like literally. It can, and yet I have nothing to do with any black Negro African American in Annapolis on a personal level. And it's obvious. And not only obvious, it's written, I spoke about it, that would never have nothing to do with it. But it's mind, it's state of mind, the male and female, the black Negro that has the animal strand DNA it can't compute rationality or being civilized, because it's an animal state of mind. It's activated. So what I'm connecting is an activation in that code. All right. So whatever that code, whoever created the code and where it came from, had it set up to activate African American black Negroes that they gave the code to. All right. That which is from South and Central America, Mexico, the pale skin, and whoever else, or where else, whether they from Pakistan, India, different parts of Africa. Wherever they have that code, they have mechanisms in that code for activation, so that they can use them as weapons if they need to. They can use them to breed if they need to. Use them whatever they need to use them for. So what I couldn't understand is like, why are these spirits, unclean, obviously unnatural, keep saying she loves your son? Like they start, like, and then so what happens? So what they try. So many times this happens when, for instance, Imani might be asleep. Okay, and all of a sudden he started being attacked in his sleep because he's making noise in his sleep. So I know an unclean spirit is attacking him. Usually I start hearing a Hispanic or a Spanish speaking accent in the room, and then all of a sudden I hear a black female Negro accent, African American Negro accent somewhere closer around the room, and they someone might say she love your son. Then all of a sudden that attack stops and Imani is not being attacked anymore. Now that is an animal state of thinking. So what they're doing is an unclean spirit is trying to make a black Negro with their filthy abomination self, unclean, unnatural disease, and full of parasites, some form of hero or connection. So is probably sitting back waiting for a time where he can try to possibly seduce and lay down with Imani, Islam. And that's the same with the black Negro male. I can't tell you how many times I've been manipulated in my dreams. And then the black Negro, I've heard them speak while I'm walking by. He effed her. And so I'm sleeping, and one of them will use a version of me, or actually attack my genitals, and start saying he. And then when I wake up or when I'm walking, he effed her. And then they'll look at me. So now, why would anybody speak of someone effing somebody and then look at a person? Unless they somehow have the telepathic code and they involved in the whole circle of sex trafficking. So I'm going to get back to them hiding what's really going on. So what's really going on is sex trafficking and breeding. All right, global breeding of unclean spirits, global breeding of on a mass level, and sex trafficking on a mass level. Islam. The TV is a satellite. Islam. So so this is the connection with the military, the Navy, the Army, and other military forces. So let me slow down a little bit. So obviously the African American black Negro, okay, is a form of that is unclean and unnatural and has the telepathic code, is a beast. It's not possibly it's a beast. It's not maybe it's a beast. It is a beast. It's an animal. It's an animal. That's all there is to it. It is an animal that has been created for breeding and slavery. That's the activation of the code. That's what they have. Now they might let the animal, let the black Negro beast go to school, get a skill. But when that beast is released back in the population, it might be in a suit, tie, whatever. It's still a beast. It is still an animal. And when they want to, they activate it. When they don't, they don't. So that's all. That is just truth. Keeping it 100. So another connection. Those that speak Spanish, whether they're from South Central America and Mexico, I couldn't understand why are they saying werewolf. Werewolves are cannibals. They change back and forth, for at least the movies that I've seen, from human form and then regular form. So why would those that look to be from El Salvador, South Central America, Mexico, and other, maybe from India, Pakistan, whatever, maybe that brown look, be saying the word werewolf in Annapolis in an odd manner? But when you, once again, the telepathic code, and you have been a lab freak, you are a lab freak. They experimented over there before they came here. Okay? Just like that lab freak of the African American black Negro, the beast. Okay? It's the same. They lab freaks. They did it over there first, and then they brought it over here gradually. So they're allowing them to come over here and giving them some form of status slowly. So because that lab freak, they have made different versions of it. So you have lab freaks that are able to control technological devices, artificial intelligence, all right, that they put on TV. Okay, different versions. This is a lab freak. These is nothing. They're not from the stars. They are not from some foreign guy. These are laboratory experiments that a government has created with, and have given them the telepathic code and have made them weapons of mass destruction. So the connection with those that speak Spanish and other immigrants that are used in a violent manner is that a government has connected with their government, allowing them to be transformed, allowing them to have experiments done, gave them a version, a strand of the telepathic code that is very low, no telling what they mixed in it, so that they can be activated and used. And then some of them, what they do is they come here, they join the military. The military, which is supposed to be protectorates, but they have this is unnaturalized, I'm referring to, but they have some of them have been some of them have been transformed, and they are being used in sex trafficking rings, being used in money laundering, being used in illegal organ selling, being used in other criminal activities. Okay, so they allowed them to join the military, all right, and they give them some form of authority or skills in learning behavior, the mind, and so forth, and they put them out in the population because they have taught them how to study the mind. So if one of them wants to invade the mind, invade your dreams, do different acts of terrorism mentally, they use them. They use those that could be from South and Central America, El Salvador, Mexico. And so if you come from nothing, in your country, your government allow experiments to happen, and you come from absolutely nothing in reference to what you have over here. And then you come over here and you are able to have some form of power over others. Okay, and you're getting paid for it. And then you start using the word I paid. So that makes you, what is that doing? That's giving that laboratory freak who didn't have any form of power until they came over to this country or this landmass and was able to use what they were taught to in a weaponized manner to harm, to violate in a violent manner power, and then they can say, hey, we paid for that body, we paid for that African American girl, we paid for that pale skinned girl, we paid for that African American boy, we paid for that pale skinned boy, we paid for that Moorish American woman, we paid that. They have a lot of magic in them. We all we gotta do is keep attacking their mind, because see, if the military has been trained and is educated in other forms of war tactics mentally, because in Annapolis you have those that are African American, Black, Negro, male and female in the Navy and the Army and other military branches, and you have those that are Hispanic. I've seen the Asian, and I've definitely seen the pale skin. So if they have been trained to study the mind and the behavior, and instead of them using that training to protect the citizens, true American citizens on this landmass, they are being used as weapons. And then to flip it, they say we paid Okay, not only that, they have the telepathic code that's transforming them. They have the telepathic code that has animal, beast, whatever strand DNA, and then they activate whoever gave them the code, wherever it came from, for them to breed. This is how you have a cycle of abuse, a cycle of weapons of mass destruction being used upon the citizens on a landmass. So you have immigrants that can come over here, which they already, if they have had the telepathic code from generation to generation, they already know some of the behaviors, the mental behaviors, and how to manipulate, how to mental possess, and so forth, how to make the bed move, how to make someone itch, how to make someone get hot. Like I've had those that look to be Spanish speaking just look at me and stare at me, and all of a sudden I feel really, really hot, like I get a heat sensation. Okay, these are laboratory freaks. All right. They've been trained to do that. What they were doing, they were sending them over there to the third world countries, attacking the people over there in different ways, breaking them down. And then so they doing and they were doing it over here too, but we had no idea. We didn't know what we were among. We didn't know that a government was flipping and using that. Looks like they have two arms, two legs, a head, looks human. It has locks like me, or some would say it has dreads like me. It looks like me. It must be like me. And it's not Islam. So it's not human. It's not classified as human. Me myself, I consider I am in a status of celestial, naturalized being, and I have a human soul. But I am speaking on those who are classified, saying they're human, and they are not. They are not classified, nor are they identified as human, because that telepathic code has classified them as an animal and identified them as an animal cosmically. They can say man all they want. They can say brother all they want. But cosmically, in truth, we know that they are not a woman. The black Negro female that I am speaking of, that's unnatural, unclean, that has a telepathic code, it is not a woman. It is not a woman. And the male is not a man. It's not a man. They know, Moors know, and the only thing that they don't want is for it to be always presented, because they're trying to be activated so they can breed. They are not men, and it is not a woman. Same with that which speak, at least those that speak Spanish, some of them still say it's the same. When they get scared, they see pale skin looking at them all crazy because they saying werewolf, then they try to switch up. But otherwise, they saying werewolf, bird, because if they feel like they have the backing of the military, which in Annapolis, the military is prevalent, and that which is in the military and also in the police that are unnaturalized are something else. You don't know what it is. You don't know. It might be that which is saying Birdman, werewolf, brother. Then why would they care? They're like, look, they teaching us we have the backing of that's supposed to be some form of authority, but all they are terrorists. They're terrorists. They're being used as weapons. So if the police, that's supposed to be some form of example of law, some form of it, okay, where if they carrying a gun, they should not be able to shoot someone for no reason, right? Okay, and they shouldn't be stalking a woman and her son, Imani, because one of them want to have sex with her or have sex with him. Okay? And because they have the telepathic code. So if the telepathic code don't stop with the police. So you have black Negroes that are police, African American black Negro males that are police, and they go around saying brother, brother too. And they had the same strand because the strand was given to different ethnicities. So if that strand has a dog, ape, and it's not a man, once again, it is not a man. We don't know what all they put in the telepathic code, but it's not a man. So if the strand has dog, ape, animal, you don't know what it is in it, then they too, that's exactly what they are. They have became what the telepathic code has made them. It is not a woman. It's not cosmic mother. It's not a goddess. It is not a woman. So that's just keeping it 100. So the television is a satellite, and it is full of these laboratory experiments freaks that many, you can tell, look to as some form of a god, like it's some form of a master. But what that is a satellite that's being used to monitor and to continue to distribute and transform indigenous beings all over the planet into something else to keep them from connecting to the divine. If anything, if people were able to free themselves, the first thing they should be doing is throwing out the TV. They should have been looking at the TV first. Looking at that as a satellite and seeing it as a satellite and seeing what it really is and what it's being used for. But too many entities can tune in through the TV and activate others that have the telepathic code, causing car accidents, causing the airplanes to shift, have some turbulence, maybe fall out the sky, causing train accidents. Too many people have the telepathic code that can be activated to cause harm and murder, kill, and whatever. And the TV, all they have to do is send that signal from the towers, from the phone, send that signal, and there you have it. So I think people are scared. And when I say TV, I'm saying there is an entity that, because the TV is a satellite that works through the television to send signals to activate. So when those shootings happen in Walmart, those that was part of the shootings, they were activation. They were just activated to shoot and kill. The electricity that went out in Texas, artificial intelligence, electronic robots, activated. Other shootings that have happened, these shooters were activated. In Annapolis, there's a car accident so many times. You could tell one car accident was literally right in front of me. It looked like the person was activated, in so many words. It looked like the person was activated because, I mean, the car had stopped and it was just played out. It just looked like the male just literally just said, I'm going to bump into her anyway. And then just so happened the undercover car was next to the car that had stopped. So 2 lanes, the car stopped, and then there was an undercover car here. The car that was behind the car stopped, kept going and bumped into the car. And then the car that was next, the SUV that was next to the car that stopped, that was in the car accident, put on the blue lights. It was black. It didn't have on any, it was covered, it was just a regular black SUV. That's when the blue lights came on from inside. It was all plotted. It wasn't real. It was not a real car accident. And then police came and played the whole thing out. In Annapolis, where the United States Navy, Army, and military are prevalent. So I was talking about sex trafficking, money laundering, and illegal organ selling. So when you have the telepathic code and you are able to send forth sharp pains, what would be, first of all, what would be your reason for sending forth sharp pain? Well, if you're an animal and you see that someone do not like you, and you want to have sex with it, and they turn on and they see that signal activation, you start sending forth sharp pains because you're trying to subjugate that person so that you can amalgamate and have sex and then make money on the side. I'm not accusing anyone personally, because a lot of the forced sharp pains I experienced has happened while I'm earning money at Burger King. Here in extended stay America, I can't tell you how many times it's like someone is either walking up and down the hall, either trying to listen to what I say. I told the general manager about them saying Burger King, military. I've also spoke about in the past hearing them say paid or in werewolf. This one lady became so bold, she knocked on the door saying money. There's not lady, female, black female. So many times when I'm out, hear the same thing. So if you are an animal, okay, a beast, you're not a man. I don't care what they say. We know, and it's truth, that they are not men and they are not women. I don't care if they look like Halle Berry. I don't care if they look like they just came from the gutter. If it's not a woman, it's not a woman. If it's not a man, it's not a man. Islam. So and you have the telepathic code. Someone's trying to tell you, I don't want to have nothing to do with you. Nah, baby. Nah, I'm going to make you love me. Nah, brother. I'm a brother. I'm a brother. That's brother. That's the brother. You know, these are activation. They animals. They beasts. They cannot compute rational, civilized thought. And this I say, racist. She racist. She racist. That boy love her. I've heard this. He loves her. They sick. These are animals. They're not men and they are not a woman. So if they're not men and they're not a woman, if they have kids, what are the kids? They're not children. Islam. So Annapolis is known to have a high rate of venereal diseases. So many times I had to give testimony of my dreams being manipulated. All right. The first time I think my dream was manipulated maybe a few months after being here. And I went to work the next morning. I think when I opened the door, one of the black male regulars that applied to be connected or sat at the table with those that applied to be connected to the military and so forth. As soon as I opened the door, he was like, "She got off." I was new to Annapolis, and I was like, "What is he talking about? She got off." So what they do is they'll come while you sleeping, all right? The black Negro beast, all right, and other beasts, but I'm gonna stick right now. I'm gonna speak about the black Negro beast male. They start stalking the room, and they figure out the way, because remember the military is prevalent here in Annapolis, so I'm pretty sure they have had a lot of time to learn how to do this. Okay, so if they're doing it here and the military is involved, that's unnaturalized. You know, when they were overseas, they will rape, molest, and do things overseas too, to the boys, to the girls, and whoever else. Okay, Islam. So what the black Negro beast does is invade and stalk a room, and then wait till like for me, go to sleep, and then invade the mind, and then if you or your genitals have a orgasm, or it feels like it, they feel like she liked it. She liked it. I love her. And then they start plotting thoughts. So then they start invading and plotting thoughts. I love her. Let us help you. So there's a movie called The Hills Have Eyes, right? I don't know if you ever seen that movie, The Hills Have Eyes. It's about these rejects, these laboratory freaks, okay? They were they were like they would wait for travelers to come through an area where there was little water, little resources, like somewhere in the desert. It was on this landmass, like somewhere, looked like somewhere in Texas or Arizona somewhere. And so travelers in their SUV or whatever you call the long one will go there, and they might set them up by blowing out one of their tires. And then they wait in the middle of the night and start trying to kidnap them. And then they start trying to breed with the women, and that they would be all messed up, you know, the teeth broken and face all lopsided or whatever. So they were making them look like literally like some type of freak. But what I'm trying to get to you or convey to you, that's just a physical. What we are among are those that can look as decent as what you would consider decent as the next person. Have a job at Whole Foods, have a job at Giant, have a job at McDonald's, wherever else, Michael's, whatever else, and they be animals, freaks waiting to prey. They're not men, they're not women. And so once they rape while you sleeping, and then they start forcefully mentally engaging, okay? And because so if they sitting around watching your behaviors, okay? They watching your behaviors like an animal, like the beast they are. So they can sit around and think of different ways they can say, we help, because they're trying to engage. They want to be a part of your life. And then you still reject them, then they start sending forth sharp pains. Because see, the thing is, they're trying to first not demonstrate sex trafficking, okay? That's the first thing they're trying not to do. Because if you have the thought of sex trafficking, then that takes away from the illusion of love. The illusion of what they're trying to connect on the emotional status of your sheath, so that they can be a part of your world. Because they're beasts, they're animals. But once you start labeling them, first of all, what they truly are, which they're not a man and they're not a woman. Not only that, they're diseased and full of parasites, viruses. That's one disconnection from you from them. And then when you start to label what's really going on, start seeing what's truly going on. with the implementation of sex trafficking through that telepathic code. Money laundering. Somehow, probably not in the banks. They probably unmarked build something with the artificial intelligence, which also is involved with sex trafficking. Cannibalism. Eating human meat. Kidnapping. Illegal organ selling. So that truth start to disconnect them from you. So that illusion of them saying, I love you, she loves your son, it starts to fade away, because truth is because when truth starts to show itself, then it shows itself. So they can't walk around and act like and portray a reality that's not real. They can, but truth is already there. They program. So a program can just get, they press a button, they still go by and say, he loves her. He loves her. That boy loved her. Do you see what he did? That boy loved her. So these unclean spirits can make you forget. So they can engage with your mental mind and cause you to forget. And then come back and, so say you forgot something, right? You shine your light, you see an unclean spirit, could be one of the mongoloid, that look to be from South Central America, Mexico, one of those mongoloid looking beast animals, okay? And then a black Negro engaged and sent a telepathic message of what you were trying to remember. See, the brother loved her. The brother tried to help her. They love her. They animals. This is the game they play. They freaks. They low life. And that's what a society that's what a government see them as. A government trained them and has raised them up to be exactly that. Uncivilized freaks, laboratory freaks. So what I do now, like for instance, example, this black male, he's been coming to Burger King since 2016, 2017. He'll come in, he used to wear this hat, said Buffalo Soldier. And he'll come in, for instance, today, he still comes into Burger King, he'll pull his white truck up, pickup truck or whatever, it's a big truck. He'll sit in the parking lot for, 30 minutes, 20 minutes, decide to come in, and then he orders a coffee and goes sit in the booth by himself. And sometimes I've seen him, like somebody might say something and he'll just come around the corner and look at me. And then he just sits in a corner by himself a lot of times and not speak to no one and just drinking his coffee or, and get a refill. And I find it odd because of what I've experienced, and also listen to old videos with him sitting at the table, hearing him speak of the same words that I've heard around extended stay America. So he would sit at the table where predominantly of the black males sitting there and others would represent or imply to be connected to the Navy and the Army and other military branches. So today, Thomas, black African male manager, the guy who I'm speaking of, who wears shirts, wear a hat say Buffalo Soldier, he did the exact same thing, came in, looked like I think he maybe sat in his truck for a little while before he came in. He comes maybe twice a week, 3 times a week to Burger King. I don't, a lot, okay? So, and he ordered his coffee. He went and sat down in the dining room by himself. And then Thomas said, run, called my name in a, like Rhonda. So I don't know why he says my name like that, but he like Rhonda. So I said yes. He said, will you go clean the check the dining room for me? I said sure. That's what I'm supposed to do. So I go out there. I saw Jemima, who is from Mexico, sitting there, sitting out there, and then I saw the black male with that would have the hat on, Buffalo Soldier. So I start wiping down the tables, and sure enough, the black Negro, African American, I don't know if he claimed a nationality or black Negro, according to constitutional law, that would be his description. That would be what he's classified as. I don't know if he claimed a nationality. He tried to have a conversation with me, and I cut him short. Okay. Because I've had to call the cops 3 times since I've been in Annapolis in reference to odd behavior of the citizens. Twice was because of African American black, 4 times, excuse me. I said 3 times, so 1, 2, 3, 4 times. 3 times because of black Negroes, and the last time was a pale skin who used the word police as he was playing with his dog with no leash just about a week ago. So sure enough, he tried to have a conversation with me, and I cut him. I really, in a polite way, I cut him short because I'm not going to have a conversation with someone who I think who I'm already I'm feeling uneasy about the military. And them being prevalent around me and my son Imani. Before he came to Burger King today, there was a black Negro female, let she claim a nationality or African American, with a look like she had on a army uniform on, cadet. I'm not sure. She was sitting at she came in, ordered food, and she was sitting at the window. And then as soon as she got up, he pulled up and came in. So sometimes, I'm not accusing him, but what I notice is sometimes what those that want to do is this is a thought, will try to represent a form of something. So it could be an old man with a army hat on that maybe approach you in a way that is not polite, or even flirt, but he is being controlled by the true predator, by the true stalker. You understand? But he has the hat that says army. You understand? So what a predator can do is either watch for a while or use someone or something to watch and stalk while it's sitting around somewhere lusting and trying to figure out a way to use different psychological games to justify it wanting to rape. And using the word paid, I paid, we paid, is one of them. So if they keep saying it and they program, what will they do? What will they not do to try to implement? So when they're invading the thoughts and your dreams, okay, and they saying paid, they are raping, and then they saying we paid. So who do they pay? If you're a free woman in natural law, or man in natural law, you're not a it. They're not men. They're not woman. And I'm not saying the Buffalo Soldier is not a man or woman. I'm talking going back. Unless he has a telepathic code and he's unnatural and unclean, then okay, maybe he, Islam. I have never talked to him on that level, so I don't know. All I'm saying is odd. Him coming and sitting there by himself, and then when Thomas told me today to go out there, he tried to have a conversation with me. So nonetheless, if you have a black Negro male, all right, saying brother, and they trying to invade, they're saying paid, brother paid. They got the black Negro female, okay? Remember, they're not men and they're not a woman, saying paid. They paid for a Moorish woman. And then they go to the next step, stalking the room, watching the behavior because they have the form of the telepathic code, stalking your son, creating different ways to try to make it seem like they helpful, why they should be able to follow, like those creatures from Hills Have Eyes, that movie Hills Have Eyes, like those creatures, okay? They cannot compute, they cannot understand why they should not behave like a beast, because they're beasts. They're beasts, they're animal. They cannot understand why. They're like, nah, man, no, oh, no, she don't want me, no, nah, man, no, I F her, he F her. That, you know, they start, it's like they cannot compute and have comprehension of why they should not behave uncivilized. And then so they go to the next step of trying to invade. Then that doesn't work. All right, to break a person down so they can engage. Then they go to the next step, then the next step, then the next step. So then so it get to a point where they become very, very, very violent. So they're already violent, but it can become even more violent. And so when you have the unnaturalized police and the unnaturalized military involved, backing them, it is extremely a double whammy. And see, that's what's going on here in Annapolis. That's why I think the pale skin, who I had to call the cops on, kept saying, shut up, as he was following me with his dog with no leash. Because I spoke of just that night before sex trafficking, illegal organ selling, money laundering, and other criminal activities. Because that's what's going on. Kidnapping. So when you're dealing with sex trafficking, you sex trafficking the kids too. So if you have artificial intelligence that can control technology, control computers, all right, and they want to have sex with your child. Okay, I'm speaking on the melanated, but you have pale skins too that can control technology. Pale skins that are definitely mixed with something else. They have the same telepathic code, whatever. But if they should want to have sex with your child, and they have made it so where you feel like you have no other choice, especially if the unnaturalized Navy, Army, and the unnaturalized police is involved, then you're gonna go ahead and do it, and it's kept under, and they try to make it into some form of clique, like a culture. We have a culture here. That's our culture. I was born this way. These things are happening globally. Also, I noticed in Annapolis they have when I speak of the military, all of a sudden I would speak of how those that seem to imply to be connected to the organic form of Islam, driving cabs, will be around, especially those that look to be from different parts of Africa. So I know that a lot of the not organic, Orthodox Islam, they a lot of the Africans practice that form of Islam that like from Senegal. Like I work, just so happy, I couldn't believe it. I've had all three co-workers that I work with, or two co-workers that I work with from Senegal. Now, I married a Senegalese. And now let me just refresh your memory. I didn't know Phyllis's husband, which is the African-American female, the description only, I don't know if she claimed a nationality, retired from the Navy until November 2020. I had no idea. I didn't know. I thought maybe a few months back or 7 or 8 months back, I heard her say it, but I wasn't sure. But she was talking so loud with this other black female. And I said, okay, well, maybe I said, well, obviously, because she was talking about her husband being a retired Navy, somebody from the Navy retired. I was like, okay, well, it must be true. And then James, he was talking loud or talking with another regular customer, black male, and using military terms, and it caused me to ask him, was he in the military? I think he said either he used to be or he still is. I'm not sure. That same person comes to Burger King still to this day. I think he comes in. I saw him one time. It was very odd. I got paid, went and did my regular routine, walked to Bank of America, deposit my check, and then I walked up to Whole Foods, and as I was coming around the corner going towards Whole Foods, I saw him at the bank teller. I thought it was odd because many times people would say paid or use the word paid as I walk, and then somebody might, odd behavior from others, and they'll be at the bank teller. Okay, so what they're trying to say, paid, and then through body language communicate because they're at the bank teller. Okay, isn't that psychological warfare, right? So he was at the bank teller as I was walking by, and I had just saw him at Burger King. So I saw him at Burger King. I got my check from Burger King. I put my check in the bank. I had to walk, so the bank is closed if I'm walking, right? Walk down, takes about 20 minutes to go to the Bank of America from Burger King. Deposit takes about another 20 minutes to go from Bank of America to Whole Foods. And there he was. And I thought it was too odd. Very, 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 very odd. Because I had just saw him there at Burger King. He still comes to Burger King still this day. Not only that, there's other black males I found odd. That comes to Burger King. Like, there's one black male. Now when COVID-19 happened, we were told place everything. There was a lot of restrictions. We were told to place everything on the counter, don't touch their hands, and so forth. So he's a regular black male. He usually drives his black SUV. On the license plate says SGT Army. On that, sometimes he drives his other vehicle, looks like a blue truck, says Jason on it. So he know this because he's a regular. So he was but I noticed I would see him in odd places. Like when I first went to go get money from my grandmother had an estate. I got a little money from it. And I saw him at the post office. I saw him at the post office as I was trying to get the paper sent off to get my money from the lawyers that had the estate. Then I saw him across the road from Burger King. So nonetheless, he comes into Burger King regularly. But I mean, I thought some of the things how he would act, he'll come. I thought he was very odd. But this one time was a little bit too odd because we were told not to touch anyone's hand, put everything on the counter. So he knows this because he was a regular through the COVID. This is during COVID. Okay. I would put his straw on the counter, and he wanted me to put the straw on his cup or something. I did a documentation. I can't remember, and he got mad because first he tried to take the straw from my hand. Okay, I tried to put it on the thing. He tried to take the straw from my hand like this. Like someone who is trying to take, it's like, I'm going to give me her, that's how it was. He was trying to take the straw from my hand. I was like, I said, you can put it there. I'm not putting it on the thing, on the cup. And he sat there like this, like I better put it on this cup. Phyllis kept her back turned. Okay, but I had a feeling, I know she knew what was happening. So after a while, as he stood there like this, like I better, because he like literally trying to take, like, okay, for instance, the energy was like, I'm going to make you put the straw here, I'm going to make you do it. I'm a man. That was the energy he was portraying. After he stood there for a while like this, he had his food, but I went ahead and did it and put it on his cup, what I remember, and then he left. Then I remember after that, after COVID-19, I was trying to place a straw in his bag, and he actually did a quick, like tried to take it like in a way to show me that that he could do it again. It was like a slight twist in his wrist and energy. So anyway, there's a lot of odd things have happened in Annapolis. Okay, he's a black male. The ones I'm talking about are black males, except for the pale skin that had the dog recently, about a week ago, that had to call the cops on, who kept saying, "Shut up, be quiet," who didn't have his dog on the thing. So I'm glad I'm speaking about this. So a lot of times when I would tweet about the military, all of a sudden these cab drivers that look to be connected to or wearing a poofy would be driving around close around me. And it's interesting to know that two people I work with are from Senegal, okay, whom I married a Senegalese, and Abbas is from Senegal. And, you know, Abbas came and visited, and you saw what he experienced while he was here visiting. And then while he was here visiting, there would be people up and down the hall saying "stay," "peace," and some of the same words I would hear at Burger King. Islam. Once again, I didn't connect the thoughts that could have been unnaturalized military and police attacking Abbas when he was 19 years old visiting. Okay? I didn't connect it then, but now I am. Or average citizens, those from Mexico, South and Central America, that they were using to attack Abbas while he was visiting. Because Imani and I had to go to work. So they were probably attacking him in his mind while we were at work. And then so the two of the co-workers I worked with, one was Musa, he started working here. Then Muhammad, who they say is Musa's brother, they both from Senegal. And then today, oddly, there was another African girl that came in new. I heard someone say, "Are you younger than Muhammad or older than Muhammad?" She could be from, I think she's from Africa. It's implied through the conversation I overheard. I didn't introduce myself to her today. She could be from Senegal as well. So I found that very interesting. All the places on earth somebody that comes to work at Burger King, and they just so happen to be from Senegal. I married Senegalese, and then, you know, so forth. They just so happen to be from Senegal. Anyway, I'm not accusing them of being connected to Orthodox Islam, those that are from Arab, because that's what I'm connected to, connecting the dots. So if you are practicing Orthodox Islam, okay, and you are an extremist, okay, because if you a lot of the Orthodox Islam, or too many, are not in natural law. They haven't been naturalized properly with the 13th Amendment with 20 sections, which says all men are free. So they are more vulnerable to be used as terrorists. So if you are connected with them,
I'm pretty sure it's all men are forever free.
All men are forever free. Okay. Thank you, Monty. Section 19 of 13th Amendment with 20 sections. That was ratified November 18th, 1865. So if you say, if you are connected with Orthodox Islam, or those from different parts of Africa who also have the telepathic code, that have different strands, and remember, they probably gave it to some of them, a lot of them, the low strand first, and start transforming them first, and then eventually brought the telepathic code over here. And then if they are extremists, then what that connects you to an extremist, Islam. And then if you already, and so if a military male, female, or whatever, who was trying to breed you, felt and feel some form of resistance, so like, let me create through that satellite, the TV, a situation that could connect her and her son, who are Moors, who have been naturalized. to uphold laws of freedom, the Organic Constitution of 1787, 13th Amendment, 20 sections, all four of Abraham Lincoln's proclamations. But we're trying to breed them. We're trying to sex traffic them. But it's not working the way we want. So we're going to create a situation to connect them in criminal activity. Or she talking too much about us that is true. She's speaking the truth too much. She's talking about, she's going back and she's talking about things that she shouldn't be talking about, because we the same. We the same. That's my queen. We the same. That's my sister. Let me create something to try to get her put in jail, get her son put in jail, and so forth. This is the type of energy that exists in Annapolis, and not just here, but all over. I won't say all over the planet, but definitely all over this landmass, Islam. And I'm going to keep bringing up the TV because average citizens are involved. Average citizens. It's not just the military. It's average citizens with the telepathic code that are unnatural, unclean, filthy, and diseased. Because the telepathic code connects them. You got the black Negroes that have a form of the telepathic code. You got the Hispanic from South and Central America who call themselves werewolves, the Birdman, so forth. Whatever else, whatever animal they probably put in their telepathic code that they embrace and that they are. Whatever it is, they have the same form of the telepathic code. You got the pale skin that had the same form of the telepathic code. So it's and then you have those that come from Baghdad, whatever, or Pakistan. So what I'm trying to get at, is that this telepathic code that a government has distributed. The thing is, people should have been asking, and then maybe they couldn't. And so I'm definitely compassionate because I'm thankful that I'm a voice for them that could not speak Islam. I am a voice for them that could not speak and they could not express what was going on. I'm a voice for my son Abbas. For my son Abbas Malik Bey. If they only knew where it came from, they probably knew what the agenda was when they put the telepathic code, when they distributed telepathic code. What the agenda, what was the intention? I think it would have changed a lot. But they were smart. They started allowing this telepathic code to be distributed to those people, third world, allowing them to come to the landmass, using them. Not just third world, but immigrants that maybe it wasn't so, they didn't come back from such a bad part. Who knows? But using them to send sharp pains, dis-ease, so forth. And then other using the weapons also in other parts of the earth, other nations. They were very, very smart. And then they flipped it as though they're trying to evolve, to make a population evolve to be something greater. And yet now you have a lot of transformed, unclean, unnatural, filthy abomination spirits. Not all that have the telepathic code, but way too many.